Hello, Internet. This is another episode of the Fair Housing Insiders, and I have an important question to ask you. Is your website turning renters away? Today, we're going to be talking about website accessibility and property management. Let's dive in. Hello, property managers and housing providers. This is another episode of the Fair Housing Insiders. I'm your host, as always, Michael Coughlin. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that's getting a lot more attention, and it really should, and that's website accessibility in the property management industry. If your website isn't inclusive, doesn't have the right tools, you could be intentionally shutting the door on prospective residents with disabilities, which we all know that's a big no-no. But how do you know if your site isn't compliant with accessibility standards? I mean, I personally am not a tech expert, so I'd have a hard time answering that question myself. But we want to explore this subject today, and that's why we brought in an expert, Kelly from Recite Me, who works on website accessibility every single day. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this. So, Kelly, let's go ahead and get started with the basics. Why is digital accessibility such a critical issue for property management professionals to understand and comply with? What are the risks of ignoring it? And if I remember correctly, right, Kelly, we're actually talking about instead of the Fair Housing Act today, we're more talking about the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's correct, right?
That's right. And so many people, when they hear ADA, they think of ramps and doorways and all of the laws that have to do with the physical environment, which is still a thing, that those are very real laws. But there's also Title II of the ADA, which deals with the web. And so many citizens are going to someone's website to be able to fill out an application for housing. And if we are discriminating against those individuals because maybe they're colorblind or they're dyslexic or they have some sort of visual disability and they can't navigate the web, they are being discriminated against. And you brought up the Fair Housing Act, where we're asked to make reasonable accommodations. The same thing is going to be true in ensuring that that digital environment is accessible for all people.
Absolutely. And so this seems like it's more than just a ethical responsibility. It's a legal responsibility as well.
Correct.
Excellent. Okay. Well, for those that are kind of tuning in, hopefully enjoying our videos and don't have a tech background, like I don't have a tech background, let's talk about like what maybe are some practical signs that they can potentially see in their website. So what are like a few simple ways a property manager or leasing agent could tell that their website may not be in compliance with accessibility guidelines?
One of the things that is the easiest is making sure that every time you upload new images to your website, so maybe it's pictures of the layout of what your housing looks like, is making sure that you are tagging those images. And so that's when someone who has a screen reader technology, when they're hovering over that image, they can't see it. And sometimes you take that for granted, right? And so there would need to be a descriptive tag behind the image. So maybe it's a picture of a living room with a couch and a lamp. The descriptor would need to say image, living room with a couch and a lamp, because when we automatically upload those images, the default would be whatever the file name is, right? JPG 367982. Well, if I hear that read aloud to me with my screen reader, that doesn't help give me a description of the image that I'm seeing on the page.
Right. That makes sense. So looking at, what you see in the industry, specifically, obviously the housing industry, what are some more common web accessibility pitfalls that people keep falling into?
I think a lot of it has to do with those images. Many housing websites are going to be very image dense. There are a lot of pictures that are going to be on your website. There may be a lot of forms that someone may need to fill out or to read, with maybe a checklist for eligibility for housing. And again, if those forms are inaccessible or they haven't been uploaded in an accessible way, that can also be a real stopping point or a barrier for someone to be able to request housing or even find out about their eligibility or even how to make a payment.
Huh. So it sounds like these are things that are overlooked even when they're actually making accessibility plans still.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes, and a lot of it comes into when you are building a site, when you're updating a site, and then just maintaining your site in an ongoing fashion. I mean, it'd be great to think that you get your website and then you never have to touch it again,
Yeah.
but probably on a weekly or maybe even a daily basis, you are updating it and you have to think about accessibility always.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. All right. So for people listening that are thinking, okay, like maybe I do need to do an investigation, make some changes. What are some of the first steps that the property management team can take without potentially completely overhauling their website, which I know would be a real struggle for some of the smaller housing providers out there?
Absolutely. I would recommend searching and seeking out an organization such as ReciteMe or others to be able to perform a scan of your site. That often is a free service that can scan your site and point out things that need to be remediated, like those images, broken links, PDFs maybe that aren't in compliance, and then helping you to start to provide tools that may be paid to help you to make those fixes. And like yourself, and even like myself, who have maybe a limited technical knowledge, but gives you those step by step pieces to go in and make the changes, and then the tools that can actually either do it for them or that they can use to make those fixes.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds incredibly helpful. And from your experience, how can teams, we talk about this at the Fair Housing Institute when it comes to training and compliance, is that it's not a one-time event. It is an ongoing part of your operations and your business. So how can teams make accessibility, especially when it comes to website accessibility, a part of their ongoing strategy and not just a one-time fix?
Seeking out organizations who have free trainings, whether they're on YouTube or maybe they have a knowledge base where you can use those videos to learn how to upload PDFs in a compliant way. How do you know if all of your images are tagged? So there are trainings that are out there that many times are free of charge that you can listen and use with your team to know that not only how do we fix what's already been done, but how do we, go forward in a compliant way?
That's awesome. Kelly, this has been incredibly helpful. And I really appreciate you being here with us today. If people want to find out more about you and Recite Me, where can they go?
If you visit reciteme.com, and that's spelled reciteme.com, you'll be able to visit the site. You can learn more about the tools that we offer. You can request a free scan. There are some training videos available there. And you can also reach out to me directly, Kelly Jan.
Perfect. Perfect. I know that I'm sure that'll be really helpful for people in this industry that they don't know the first steps to take. They don't know where to go. So I certainly encourage you to do your research and reach out to Recite Me or a company like them if you feel like maybe you're falling behind on website accessibility. Well, Kelly, again, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been really interesting and I hope really helpful for our audience. And as always, for our audience, thank you so much for watching and supporting our channel. Please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it with your community, because I know there's a lot of information that people desperately need, and this is one of the subjects they needed the most on. So again, this has been another episode of the Fair Housing Insiders. Thanks for sticking with us. Happy training.